Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, and we're going to be going through character design and sketching starting from the sketching process all the way up. And so yeah, I haven't done a video like that yet. I guess I kind of did one a while back that's on the website under drawing for creature design, but that's a little different. So this video is going to talk about different things than that one did. Right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you want more free tutorials, just go to the website and the link there, and then you can check out all the, I have a lot of different video tutorials on there for free. I'm going to start by closing this. Oh, by the way, this is Alicia Jude. I can zoom in on some of this. I really like this hair design I came up with, this hairstyle here. I call it the butterfly. That's really cool. And she's actually going to have that in the graphic novel at one part. Anyway, so this is Lisa Jude from Dimination, my online graphic novel, totally free on my website. I haven't started it yet. I mean, I've started it, but I haven't started posting pages yet. But I will soon. Anyway, let's go ahead and close this out and get started. Well, that was a long minute introduction. Oh well, whatever. So I have a document here to work on. It's just 1280 by 720 widescreen, and the size doesn't matter. I like sketching though at 72 dpi, so I guess that part's kind of important. So you might want to try sketching at low resolution just to see if you like the feel of it better, and then you could, after you have the basic sketch down, you can blow it up to 300 dpi. Okay, so the first thing I like to think about is I have a general idea for the body. And I'm going to start by holding on the Shift key and draw a straight line, like so. That's the balancing line. I want a pretty much even distribution of weight on both sides of this line. So an even amount of the body should be on both sides of the line. And if not, then she's going to be slightly off balance, which means her position should account for that, which hers will, because she's going to be slightly off balance. And then I can maybe start kind of like where I'll have the head or something, just a general guideline to get started. Right, now the next thing I want is like an S curve, so I know kind of what I want the stance to be like. I'm going to try to bring as much of her weight back on that side as I can, because a lot of her weight's going to be on that side. So most of her weight is going to be on this foot here. And then I'll have to, so let's see, I'm just working out where I want everything. Generally I do like a circle where belly button is, and then I can do another shape, because once you know like where things are related to each other, you can kind of just draw those shapes in there. So I know this leg is going to kind of come down like that and then come over here, and then this leg will have to come down, and I'm going to kind of have her knees coming together, that kind of cutesy look where the knees kind of almost touch, or they do touch. Right, so I start out with these, really loose sketch where I'm just putting relations of body parts together. You don't have to work that way, but it's just how I like to do it. So I want her neck actually to be pretty much straight up and down, kind of shows strength and confidence. And this is Emily, so she is a slave girl for Herrick Nation. So she's definitely got confidence and bravery from her occupation. She's also a baby machine. Herrick Nation is all about, I want to have her shoulders kind of up. Herrick Nation, they don't care about the female aspect. And in this world that I've designed, I've created, the people are all born female, and they all turn male by age 16. One nation really emphasizes the female aspect, and they really like the female aspect, and they worship the goddess Demi. They're called Demi Nation. The other worship the god Herrick, so they worship the god Herrick. And so she's from Herrick Nation, and doesn't they typically don't look like females. They do, but they're not allowed to look like females, except for the baby machines. And the baby machines are the ones that are pretty much there to have babies. That's why they call them baby machines. They purposely call them machines to downplay them. So once you kind of know the methods I teach on my website for anatomy, that is, that square method, then you don't have to use that anymore. After you use it enough times, your brain kind of puts the relation of body parts together. You know that, also with just heads in general, you know that there's going to be about 2.5 heads before you get to here, things like that. And then relation to each other, that the distance from the halfway part, like our nipples, to the belly button, which should be a little bit lower, to from there to there to there to there, is about the same length. Unless you're stylizing your character, then they might be a little different. And then you have like this kind of circle that surrounds the belly button, and you have these lines that come here like that. Then you have the rib cage that comes off like that. She has a really thin rib cage. Like I said, she's really stylized. And then another thing I like to do is from that bend point is I like to draw this kind of egg shape that comes down like that. And that shape right there generally helps me draw the rest of the body parts, or her hips and knees. As I'm working, I like to constantly erase with a eraser that has pressure sensitivity. If I can just erase some of it, it's kind of like using a kneaded eraser, and that allows me to come back in and fix things up as I'm working, just so I can get my basic idea down. And I don't worry about clothes and all that yet, but what I do have is a general idea of the person's body type. Are they wide-hipped, or are they narrow-hipped? Do they have large breasts for their size, or small breast? All these things I usually know before I even begin working. So it's good to have a general idea of what your character looks like. And notice that same kind of shape is repeated on that side. That's like really exaggerated, but that same shape is here on the arm as well. See, that shape is repeated a lot throughout the human body. And actually, this side sometimes doesn't have that shape. Sometimes it just has more like that, or it comes even to a point right here. It just depends on the angle and stuff. So I'm not worrying too much about accuracy of the anatomy so much, but I do want it to be somewhat accurate, even though she's stylized. I still want it to be somewhat accurate before I start putting clothes on. That way, when I do put the clothes on, everything kind of matches right. And notice I kind of squinch that up a lot. It is kind of cute, but I'm thinking, because I did that, and this is all stuff you work out as you're working. I'm going to bring her breasts so they're a little bit higher, even though they are natural breasts, because they don't believe in incarnation of changing the body. Girls aren't allowed to look like girls anyway, so they have to be all natural. But the only ones that are allowed to look like girls are those that are naturally kind of born into that family or whatever. They're kind of born into the slave family, or it's a punishment because they are cursed. Anyway, there's different reasons why they become that way. This arm is going to kind of come like that. I'm not worried about the arm right now. I'm worried about the shape of the clothing, since I already know the kind of shirt she's going to be having. So I can just skip that whole part of making the arm, since I know it's not going to be there. But that arm is just easier to put the curve that way. I know the shirt will follow it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm having a hard time with the shape of the breast there. I'm not worried too much about the detail in all this part, like I said, because it's going to be covered anyway, but I do want the outside, the contours, to be correct. So when I do put the clothes on her, everything's pretty much correct. She has more of a stylized look to her altogether, her face and everything, so kind of want almost like a round circle there. Not quite. I don't worry about that part yet. I actually copy this and zoom it up really big, so I maybe do like a little, thumbnail part, just to kind of get the placement of parts and everything. Once I have that, then I zoom it up bigger, and I'll show that process. But that's how I end up designing the face. So at this stage here, I think I'm almost happy with how everything looks except for this. And so I want this arm to come almost straight down like this, and then have her hand curved like that. So just about out of time. Then she'll have like one knuckle coming down like that. Most of her hand's going to be covered by the shirt anyway, so I don't need to get too much. Like, notice I'm not worried so much about the accuracies of anatomy here, because I know, this particular sketch, I'm just doing her clothing, since I'm pretty sure she's never seen naked anyway. But if I wanted to, I could draw her with just bikini or something on too, just for if she's ever seen like that, I have something to reference her body. But so I pretty much have know what her body looks like anyway. Right, so that's it for this part. Come back for the next part and we'll start putting the final touches on her in 300 dpi and putting her clothes on, and how I go about designing the clothes and the face and everything and the hair. Alright, thank you for watching. Please comment. It only takes a second. All you have to do is comment, and if you don't have time to do that, then just click the rating. That's cool too.